So finally I get to speak to people sitting down, or speak into the camera anyway. Workbench is all set up and I'm really happy with it. So today is going to be the CX day. I'm going to be cutting that frame, ignore the hoover, but I'm going to be cutting that frame at the back there. So the front shocks, it's proving to be really expensive to do that. I might do it soon, but when I've started to tally everything up, so you've got your front forks, you've got your triple tree, you've then got the brake discs, the brake calipers, then the wheel, it all adds up. So at the moment you're looking about £700–800 to just change that front fork, which in all honesty is a little bit more than what I paid for the bike. So can I justify spending that much? So I don't know. I might leave it off for a couple of videos anyway, so I can do other things whilst I think about all that. So what I'll do is shorten the forks by eye to what I think the CBR or the GSXR, whichever forks I decide to go down, to the height that I think they should be. But today, the rear end. Just a quick update on the GS. These boots, or these intakes, are finally in stock now in the dealership that I've contacted. So I'm going to pick them up later after I've finished cutting this frame. So what I'll also do for these build videos is put a little counter at the bottom corner, whichever corner it may be, just on the amount that I've spent so far. So the problem I had with the GS was that I had no idea how much money I'd spent on it. So I'm going to keep a track of this, and for everything that I buy, the little counter is going to go up per video. It's all going to be things that I buy for the bike and sort of perishable tools. Some cutting discs, essential, and a new pair of glasses. I go through these like nothing else. I usually stand on them and whatever. So those are the two costs for this video, and let's get cutting. There's no weight at the back here now at all, so all the weight's going to the front, so I can cut this off quite neatly. Start ever so slightly. I don't want to go through into this bar, I want to keep this bar at the back here intact, so cut off. I'm going to leave this bit on the back as well, so at least I've got a brace then to keep these two sections together. It'll make it easier when I put it back on, and then I can cut this at the very end. So what I might do actually is move the tyre from here. As I'm working on the back of here, I'm sort of getting closer and closer to this tyre, and I don't really fancy doing anything to that. And here we are. The first part of it, we'll put those somewhere, is here. So that's the main back off. Not the prettiest cut, I've got to admit. I could have probably done that a lot neater had I measured it. But in all honesty, I'm not going to be keeping any of that. So I'm just going to slowly grind this off now. And then I carry this line through with a brat style hoop. which would be quite nice. So I'll grind these down now, just tidy them off and tidy this back here, and then I'll be ready then to measure all sorts. So what I'm doing here now is just using the grinding disc now, so that's a thicker disc, so you can at least go around it and you can shape the edge. So I'm cutting all these, there's a bit of hot sort of pointing out with some pliers, I'm cutting all these redundant pieces that I don't really need now, and I'm just shaping it. So if you look down there now, you can still see a bit of the weld actually showing. So I'm just shaving that down bit by bit and just getting it smooth now, and then we'll be left with the frame as it was originally. Whilst I've got the cutter out, I've got a few little other tabs that I want to get rid of. I've got these two exhaust brackets here. If I am going to use them, I really don't want exhaust brackets this big. I can put some neat ones somewhere else. And these two little brackets here, I can't actually remember what they were used to hold. I want to keep this bracket here. I know that's for the water tank, so that's definitely important there. So that's the majority of cutting done. I've now got this all cut and I've started grinding it down, so I'm getting all the weld off here. I need to do the same to the other side. I've sort of started it but not finished, and I definitely need to do the same here. But I'm running out of time for today, so that's all I'm going to do. I've cut these tabs off at the bottom here. I need to grind these off, make that nice and smooth as well. The two tabs here have gone, but now at least you're getting to see the shape of the bike. So it's still going downhill a bit, but not as much as it was before. Obviously we've got the rear peg up, so that's another reason why it's a bit taller than what it should be. But hopefully with the shocks mounted a bit lower here and the front shortened just a bit more, depending whether I get CBR or whatever shocks I decide to go on the front. So the next thing I need to do is figure out what I'm going to do to the end here. So I can see that is 230 mil, so 9 inches nearly, just over. So the old measurement, yeah, that was 9 inches. See myself at my new workbench. I need to properly measure it and get a steel hoop fabricated for the back. So I've got a rough idea. It's going to be 225 mil or 230 mil. In fact, what was it on the Suzuki? Let me check. If that's the case, I can just order another Suzuki part. So that was 225. I thought it sounded familiar. Right, makes things a bit easier. So I can order exactly the same part as I did for the Suzuki. So that's a brat style hoop, brat style being the little kick up at the back. I can order one of those, which will fit at the back there. Weld that on. Actually no, before I do that I need to order a new seat, so hang on, more thinking. What does that look like? That seat would actually be the right fit for it. I don't think I need a shorter seat than that. Okay, so that's giving me a few ideas now. Actually, that sounds to look quite nice. Would it? If the frame was red and the tank white and the little hump on the back white. I don't know. But this is giving me a whole load of ideas now. See, the best thing about working on a bike is that it always changes. So the diagram I put up last Friday, I think it was, you know, everything changes from there. Your ideas change, your parts change depending on price and things. At least I know what to order. So I'll order the hoop, I'll decide what seat I'm going to get, then I can fabricate it all together. Order the shocks as well. So many people doing monoshocks now. I want to do something different, so a bright red frame and a black shocks I think would look really nice. Right, so that's where I'm going to leave the video for tonight. It's getting a bit too late for me to do anything else. If you like what you see, subscribe as usual, and if you want to keep updated with how this build gets on, then obviously subscribe, and I'll have another video for you on Monday.